Hey, what's up, people? This is Tsumugi. Today I'm gonna bring you a precise and short and accurate choice for the unit you have to pick when you start the Tyranid army. Let's say you're a total beginner of the Tyranid race, but not a total beginner to the wargaming scene. Like you play like Space Marine, Necrons, Eldar, you know this game inside out, but you just want to get into this bug army, but you don't know where to start. You don't know what unit to pick, and you're so tired of reading ID4Chan. So you just want a quick video to know what unit to pick and what unit to avoid. This video is gonna be quick. Alright, Brood Lord, get one. Get one Brood Lord. You can get them from the Start Collecting box, the one with Moloch and Gene Stealers and Brood Lord. It's a value pack, but you only need like one box of it. Just one. Just pick one box, you get one Brood Lord. You usually only need one Brood Lord in the 2K army. You don't need more than two. Certainly not a third one, because it's just over redundant. You only need one Brood Lord, okay? Hive Tyrants, okay, even after nerf, they are still very good. The only way to assemble them is Flyrant. You always have to give them wings. I say in a 2K point game, you need like about 1 to 2. But if you just started out, you don't want to spend too much money on Hive Tyrant, you can probably just buy one. One is enough. You almost always need one Hive Tyrant. This is mandatory. This unit is fucking awesome. Moving on, we got the Swarmlord. Swarmlord is very situational. It shares the same box with the Flyrant. So if you got like two Flyrant box, but somehow you decide to get a Swarmlord, you can. But Swarmlord is a bit situational, and it's more for advanced players. So I don't recommend you start with Swarmlord. The Tyranid Prime is horrible, don't even think about it, because it only buffs the Tyranid Warrior, which equally sucks. So just ignore Tyranid Prime altogether. Now, move on to Travagon. Now, Travagon is something that a lot of people think they like it, but it's just really bad. It's like the spawn mechanic is not that great, and like the Travagon, it's a bit overpriced. Maybe if it's like 20 to 50 points cheaper, Travagon might be worth it, but for the time being, Travagon is not a solid choice for HQ. Neurothrobes. Neurothrop is mandatory. You need 3 of them. The reason why I say you need 3 of them is because a Tyranid army doesn't really have a lot of choice when it comes to HQ. As you can see, like on this page, it's like 3 of them sucks already, and 1 is situational. So Neurothrop is good because it's only costs 70 points. It costs 70 points, and it can easily fill up your HQ slot. And you can get Neurothrop from the Zoanthrop slash Venomthrop box. You can get like one kit to make one Neurothrop, or you can just proxy it. You know, like if you don't want to spend too much money, you can just get one Zoanthrop box, and you just proxy all of them as Neurothrop. You know, nobody's gonna say a thing, because like the reality is nobody uses Zoanthrop anyway, so the people just assume is a Neurothrop. This is good. Get 3 of them. Now, Old One Eye, this is situational, like very situational. If you want to play a counter effects army, this unit is mandatory. As a matter of fact, that this unit is probably most likely bought with the 2 counter effects in 1 box set. You want that, okay? So if you want to play Old One Eye, you need to buy at least 2 box of counter effects, which contains in the grand total of 4 counter effects, which you can use 1 of them to make Old One Eye, and use 3 of them to make melee counter effects, which I'm gonna get to later. Now moving on, we got Tyranid Warrior. The HQ is done. Let's move on to troop choice. Tyranid Warrior is horrible. Don't buy or don't get anything that has Tyranid Warrior with it, unless it's basically free, like the set, the Battle of Bao, or the Shield of Bao, whatever it's called, the Blood Angel versus Tyranid one. It has like the counter effects, some warriors, and something else. I can't, and Gene Stealers, yes. That kind of stuff, yes, that's worth it, but like it's 8th edition, like people already forgot about that anyway. So Warrior is bad. Don't get them. Do not buy them. These are bad. The reason is because like they are, when compared to their reference, they are not that much worth it. Okay, I will get to that right now. Gene Stealers, they are so much better. Gene Stealer is a must-take. You probably need about, let's say, you need at the minimum of 32 to 40 Gene Stealers. Yes, that's how much you need as a Tyranid startup army for 2K. For 2K point, you probably need like that much. But if you start a fewer point, like 1500 or 7050, you probably only need like around, let's say 24-ish, I guess. But yeah, I think 32 is a good start. Like if you get 32, you can split them into 2 squad of 16, which is a great start. So Gene Stealers, definitely get them. Get like 32 of them, which is, I think it's 4 boxes. Yeah. Termagants. Termagant itself is not all that amazing. They are just basically like objective cappers. Like they're kind of like scouts of Space Marine Army, even though they don't have scout. They are like cultists for chaos, but they don't have much firepower. But they're dirt cheap. They're fucking dirt cheap. Also, the pack they contain gives you Ripper Swarms, which I'll get to it later, which is very important. To get Ripper Swarms, you will need to buy the box, the Termagon box, which each box gives you, I think, give you like 2 or 3. I can't exactly remember, but you probably want to buy 3 boxes of Termagons anyway. You probably need like about 3. 3 is a good number. You get 3 boxes. You will get around, let's see, 12. 36 Termagant, which is a bit too much. If that's too much for you, you can do it like 2 boxes, but like 2 to 3 boxes for Termagant, because it's Ripper Swarm is mandatory. Now move on to Hormagants. Hormagants, I think it's the same as Termagant. It doesn't give you Ripper Swarm, but Hormagant itself is pretty important. It's worth the money. You probably want to buy like 2 to 3 boxes of them. That's probably not enough, but good enough for you to start an army. That will give you like around 24 Hormagons, which is a good start. Like 2 boxes of these guys. Ripper Swarm, like I said, it comes from the Termagon box. So as long as you're purchasing the Termagon box, you will get Ripper Swarm. So you don't have to worry about this. Now moving on to Tyrant Guard. Tyrant Guard and Hive Guard, they share the same box. So the same box, you can make it into Tyrant Guard or Hive Guard. It doesn't matter which one. But 99% of the time, you will probably want to make it into a Hive Guard. So this is web store exclusive, so you probably want to order it as soon as you decide to join the Tyranid army, because this unit right here, this Hive Guard unit right here, it's absolute mandatory. It is absolute mandatory. Like, you need this. Like, okay, now the question is, how many do you need? Each box gives you like 3 models of Hive Guards, right? I say 6 to 12. It's a good starting point. I think 6 is enough. Just get 6 of them. Get 6 model, which is 2 box worth of Hive Guards, and make all of them into Hive Guard. Obviously, don't make them into Tyrant Guard. Make them into the Hive Guards. Okay, so you have 6 models. 6 model is the maximum capacity of the Hive Guard unit, which you can use single-minded annihilation stratagem later on, which will absolutely obliterate lightly toughness vehicle, like toughness 7, right? It will completely demolish them, and even toughness 8 vehicle. So this is great. Get like 2 box at least, minimum. You need at least minimum 2 box of these guys. Lictors, Death Leapers, they are horrible. Like, don't choose them. Like, they're extremely situational even in the hands of pros, so don't even bother. Zoanthrope, okay, like I said, Zoanthrope, you have to purchase Zoanthrope in order to make Neurothrope, because they share the same box anyway. But Zoanthrope itself, you don't use it. Like, you don't use it very often. Like, people don't use this thing that much often. So just buy the box and make them into Neurothrope, or proxy Zoanthrope as Neurothrope, because that's what people do anyway. Male Scepter, situational unit, and they're big and expensive. Definitely do not recommend for beginner. Venomthrope, they share the same box. Venomthrope, Zoanthrope, and Neurothrope, they share the same box. They all share the same box. So if you plan to play a Tyranid army, you probably want to buy like around 2 box-ish. You probably want 2 box worth of Thropes, right? So you can make 3 of them into Neurothrope and another 3 of them into Venomthropes. Venomthrope is a crucial unit for Tyranid, but it's a give or take. Like, you don't absolutely need this. It's not as mandatory as Hive Guards, but it is still important nonetheless, because it gives -1 to hit for range attacks. So like, if enemy is trying to shoot at your monster's creature, or they're trying to shoot at your Gene Stealer's swarm, they will have to take -1 hit. Like, so even for like Space Marine, the chance for them to hit you goes from 66% to 50%, which is awesome. 3+ to 4+. So this is if you want to play Venomthrope, buy 2 box of Zoanthrope and make 3 into Neurothrope, 3 into Venomthrope. If not, just buy 1 box and make them all into Neurothrope. All right. Pyrovores, situational. I don't want to talk about it. Same thing for this guy. This guy shares the same problem with Velociraptor. They have the same problem. It's like very situational. They're very big and they're huge money investment. So it's probably not a good idea to buy them. We have Gargoyles. Gargoyles looks fun on paper. They move really fast, and with Kraken they can move extremely fast. They can rocket through the entire battlefield if they want to. But the only downside for them is like they're a fucking fast attack. They're not troop choice. If they're a troop choice, they will probably be like the better choice and the better unit overall. But since they're fast attack, they do not fulfill the troop choice requirement. It's sad, you know. Like I say, they don't have much firepower, but they move really fast, and most of the time that's probably what you need. Another thing about Gargoyle is they cost a lot of paint. If you're trying to paint your army, Gargoyle will just cost way too much paint. It's not really that great for beginners, and strategic wise, it's not all that great anyway. So just skip this. Raveners and Red Terror, these are more like advanced unit. Like Ravener used to be great when Yona Magondo didn't got fucked by the FAQ rules, the deep strike only on turn 2 thing. They used to be good, but now it's like meh. It's just not that great. You know, Ravener is whatever. Now we also have Spore Mines and Mucilus Spores. Like these two, okay. It's for a beginner player, don't worry about it. Like don't think about the spores. Like just focus on building your basic structure army, and then you can branch out a little bit to choose if you want to play around with the spores. All right, I'll get to spores later. Like spores are very important actually. Exocrine and Tyranid, right? Exocrine, it's a unit that if you're dealing with a lot of marine player, let's say your shop has a tons of like space marine player who like to use infantry, okay? If they use tank, don't get Exocrine. But if they use a tons of infantry, get Exocrine. The reason why you want to Exocrine is because they are complete, utterly great heavy infantry killer, okay? Their bioplasmic gun is strength 7, AP -3, and it only deals like 2 damage, but that's okay because you're targeting heavy infantry, like a space marine or a terminator or like a biker. You know, those are really good. These are good, yummy target for Exocrine. But if you don't have a lot of infantry player in your shop, you can probably skip this. This is probably not that important. And then we have Tyranid, right? Tyranid is it's another situational unit that you probably don't want to buy in your first go. Like it's very expensive, both in point wise and money wise. It's very expensive, but you probably don't want this as your beginning army. Like just skip this unit. But I personally recommend to get Tyranid later on if you plan to play Tyranid, because Tyranid is the only unit that has 48 inch range, and it also has like strength 10. AP -3 weapon that deals D6 damage. So these guys are absolute tank hunters, but that takes a lot of RNG. If luck is not on your side, this unit is you probably want to skip this guy, because if you keep rolling badly, this guy will just fail you constantly. But if you roll average or pretty good, then Tyranid is actually not a bad pick. But if you really want to just try this unit out, get like maybe just one. Don't get 2, or you'll end up like me, who will have to be, you know, building your army based on Tyranid, which is bad. If you really want to try this unit, just buy 1. You know, same goes for Exocrine. If you want to play Exocrine, just get 1 of them. 1 is enough. Biovore is a great unit. They cost very cheaply, but they are a bitch in terms of modeling, because they're fine cast right now at this moment. Games Workshop doesn't have a plan to like revamp them anytime soon, so Biovore is a mandatory. I would say it's mandatory, but if you don't want to play with Games Workshop fine cast, like then you can skip this unit. That's fine. But Biovore is very powerful itself. It's really good. It can shoot spores. If it hits, it hits. If it misses, it's okay. You can spawn a spore next to the target you missed, and the spore, if they let the spore get close to them, it would deal mortal damage, and it's like fucking amazing, right? Toxicrane is kind of like Malceptor and and Haruspex. Yeah, I'm not sure how you call it. This is extremely situational. They're big, they look scary, they look cool, but they don't do much. I'm sorry. Like, in terms of point, you know, like competitively speaking, like these guys don't do much. All right, Carnifex. Okay, like I said about when I was talking about 019, if you plan to play Carnifex in your army, you will need to get at least 2 boxes. 2 boxes is the bare minimum. You need 2 boxes, because 2 boxes give you like 4 Carnifex, and you can make 1 of them into 019, and the rest 3 of them you can configure them into mini Carnifex. Okay, it has to be mini Carnifex, because if you're not playing mini Carnifex and you take 019, you're just wasting your point. Take 019 and 3 mini Carnifex if you want to play Carnifex in your army. Now you might ask me okay, sure, that sounds all good and all, but should I play Carnifex? Okay, that will, you know, you have to ask yourself about that. Carnifex is the type of unit that serves as a distraction and as a tank can opener, you know, so it's like, if you keep running into like IG players who likes to bring tank and like little to nothing infantry, then Carnifex is probably not a bad pick, because they can absolutely tear up a tank. They the suggested like weapon for them to take is Crushing Claw, with Slicing Talons, Adrenal Glands, Tusk with Bone Mace, and maybe a Spore Sight. That's the typical melee Carnifex build, which costs around 116 points. Yeah, which is really worth it. It's like 116 points. If they ever get close to a tank, which you know, hopefully they get buffed by 019, they will completely tear that tank apart. Like, because like with Crushing Claw, it's a strength 14. You know, like it basically will wound a toughness 7 tank on a 2+. That's how crazy it is. So Carnifex, if you really like the fantasy of this unit, they're actually pretty good in the game as well. In terms of numbers and points and stuff, they are pretty good unit. But not everyone wants to order stuff from web store though. These guys are web store exclusive because fuck you GW, right? All right, Screaming Killers basically same as Carnifex, but I personally do not recommend Screaming Killers and Thornback because like usually the vanilla Carnifex is good enough. You probably don't need these two. These two are for like very specific use. Like if you just find out like everything they provide just suits your need, then yes, get them by all means. But I think Carnifex is more customizable and it's better for to suit your needs. So yeah, like these two, just skip them for now and you know, get your Carnifex first. They come from the same box anyway. All right, now Moloch. Moloch, it's the unit that comes with the Start Collecting Tyranid box, which is great because the box contains Gene Stealer, which is essential for your army anyway. So you need that one way or another. But Moloch itself, after FAQ, they took a hit. You know, like they used to be able to like deep strike and damage anyone within 3 inches in turn 1. They used to be able to do that, but not anymore because they will have to wait until turn 2. Now, Moloch, you can still try to do some damage and do some harassment with them, but like at this moment, in point in time, I guess you can try to get them because you are getting the box anyway, because if you have no Tyranid whatsoever, the box will give you a Brute Lord, which is great. Having the first Brute Lord, it's always worth it. The second one and the third one, not so much. They also give you like 8 Gene Stealers, which is awesome. You definitely need Gene Stealer in your Tyranid army, and also give you a Moloch. Now, Moloch's kind of like treat it as like something you got for free. Okay, just treat it that way. You don't buy Moloch specifically because it's just not worth it. But if you're getting from the Start Collecting box, it's okay. It's not a bad deal, you know. Trigon and Trigon Prime, they came from the same box as Moloch, which you know, which also means the Start Collecting box. The Moloch contained within the box can also be constructed into a Trigon or Trigon Prime. Now, Trigon Prime, they are more let's say they are more specialized. That if you're trying to play an army that, for example, the Termagon Bomb, what happens is that you take a Trigon, right? And what Trigon can do is you can stuff one unit with this guy. So when it comes down, when it deep strike out of the ground, 9 inches away from the enemy, he can also bring one unit of your choice that spawns next to the enemy. Of course, that unit has to be a troop choice, if I recall correctly. So you can't exactly bring like a Carnifex, right? And next to the enemy line, because that would be crazy. Now, Trigon, okay? Now, Trigon, they can bring Termagants. They can bring 30 Termagants, okay? If they bring 30 Termagants, what's going to happen is like Termagon with their Devourer Gun, okay, which is 3 shot per model, okay? 3 shot per model. And you have 30 Termagants. That's 90 shots of strength 4 weapon, AP nothing, which doesn't matter, right? That thing, you think that's scary? Wait, there's more. If you activate single-minded annihilation, you can dish out 180 shot at turn 2. You just pop this guy out, alright? You pop this guy out, you spawn a Termagon, you stuff in his little belly, and then you deal like 180 shot with just cost like 1 or 2 CP, I can't remember, maybe 2, I think, yeah. Which like 180 shot, I don't think anyone's gonna survive that, except unless you're maybe like a Imperial Knight, maybe you will survive. But if you're like just like a regular Predator or like maybe Land Raider, you're gonna have a bad day. That's like 180 wounds you have to roll. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, so that's how I use Trigon Prime. Okay, let's move on to Tyrannocyte. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce this thing. Tyrannocyte. I'm sorry, Tyrannocyte. I'm sorry. This is basically Tyranid drop pod. I don't recommend. I do not recommend this for new players. They are not that adaptable and not that flexible. Although this, the box that makes this model contains spores. It contains spores mine, the mucilid spores, which is great. You know, you probably want that. So this is one of the way you can get spores. But other than that, the pod itself is not worth assembly. Like, don't make a pod, because yeah, it costs way too much, both money wise and point wise. Now, move on to Harpy and Hive Chrome. Now, Harpy and Hive Chrome, here's the problem. They are the only flying unit other than Fly Tyrants, right? Flying Hive Tyrants. The reason why you don't see a lot of flyer in Tyranid army is because they do not have hard to hit, which means like anyone trying to hit them will not get the Blizzard skill reduced by 1, which every other flyer does have. They are the toughness. Their toughness is pretty bad. Their toughness 6. You know, like for a sort of vehicle unit, their toughness is way too low. Like they need to be like at least toughness 7 or something in order to, you know, perform as like a flying vehicle for Tyranids, but this is not the case here. You know, like their toughness is way too low, and their cost doesn't really justify their performance. Also, they do not have hard to hit, like I said before, and worst of all, like they are both pretty much a shooty unit. Like they are not like a swoop down attack, like bite you in the face type of unit. They are both shooty units. Now the problem is like they both have like horrible BS. Their BS is 4, right? And if you're trying to move them, and trying to shoot with these guys, you're probably gonna have a bad day, because these guys, their damage table when they take damage is like the Blizzard skill reduced to 5+, well, which it's not worth to take them at all whatsoever. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And this is a building that you get from the drop pod box, which like I don't know, this is like beyond situational. So that's pretty much it. All right, let's do a small recap. What do you want to get as your first Tyranid army? You want to get the starting box, which contains 1 Broodlord, 1 Moloch, and 8 Gene Stealers, I believe, maybe 10, I'm not sure, but like Gene Stealers, Moloch, and Broodlord, that's a good start. And what else do you want to buy? You want to buy 1 Hive Tyrant box, okay? The Hive Tyrant box will give you the parts to assemble 1 Hive Tyrant. Now, you definitely need at least 1 Hive Tyrant, so that's a must buy. If you're trying to play this army, it's a mandatory cost, like you cannot escape it. You definitely need 1 Hive Tyrant and assemble into a Flyrant. Hormigons, Termagants, and Gene Stealers, these are pretty much the mandatory cost you have to spend anyway. More so on Termagants though, because Termagants, it also contains Ripper Swarm. Ripper Swarm is a great unit if you just want to fill the troop requirement for a battalion detachment. So Termagon, you probably want to spend like you probably want to buy like about 3 boxes, maybe 3, maybe 4. I think 3 is enough. 2 to 3 box worth of Termagon is enough, and 2 to 3 box with Hormigons. And for Gene Stealers, you definitely need around 32 models, so that's about 4 boxes. Yes, that's a lot, but it's just mandatory cost. Like that's the cost for playing this race. What else? Oh yeah, Hive Guards. To get Hive Guards, they're absolute mandatory. They will fit any list you want to play. A shooty list, a aggressive list. You will definitely need some sort of like a backfill unit, and those units are often time than not they are Hive Guards. So get Hive Guards. They're super important. Let's go to heavy support. Heavy support. You got current effects, turn effects, and Extra Crane. Okay, let's start with Carnifex. Carnifex, it's a great unit. It's a solid unit. It looks amazing, and it works like a magic. Okay, but like don't expect them to win you games. They are not that great, but they're good enough for you to bring them on the table. Now, the problem with Carnifex is it's web store exclusive, just like Hive Cards. So they are pain in the ass to order. You know, you can't exactly get them from your local shop unless you order them like a month in advance or something like that. You know, I got mine a month later. I ordered it, so it's like a huge chunk of time wasted. Beyond that, Turn Effects and Axel Crane, you can probably pick one, I think, but never both. Don't take both, because you will probably never have a point to take both at the same time. You probably want to choose one, like Turn Effects or Axel Crane. Depends on your local store though. If you have a lot of Space Marine players who likes to bring a lot of infantry, then get Axel Crane, because they're good at killing infantry. If you have like tons of IG players who like to bring their tanks, then pick Terran Effects, because strength 10 AP 3 and then D6 damage would absolutely wreck tanks if RNGs is standing on your side. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. This is what you should get as a new Tyranid player, and I hope you guys enjoy it. See you guys later. Bye bye.